So this lady says if you change your inner monologue of how you think, your life will completely change. I said this changed my life 12 years ago, and people wanted me to elaborate. Okay, so first I'm gonna tell you how my life was before I changed my mindset. I'm gonna tell you how I changed my mindset, what was happening while I was changing my mindset, how my life started changing, and what happened when I tried to go back to my old ways, where I ended up at and where I am now. I used to always party a lot, drink a lot. I had goals, but I didn't know how to achieve them. I was in a terribly toxic relationship. Punched the door because I was mad at my girlfriend. Look at that. Literally had no direction and was hella depressed. And one day, it was on November 2012, I was introduced to a film called The Secret. Pretty much just talks about law of attraction, thinking a certain way. Pretty much a lot of stuff that they say in the Bible. But I was intrigued by it. You telling me if I think a certain way, I won't be living this miserable life? So I dived into it. Started listening to a whole bunch of audiobooks about law of attraction, which led me right back to the Bible. You know what's crazy about the Bible? I used to think it was like a book that was telling us how to be good people. Nobody told me it was a book that lets you know how to not live a miserable life. So many gems in there are literally telling you how to fix your problem. So I read a lot of those scriptures, started to say affirmations. I'll be at work 6 days a week, 13 hours a day, listening to the Bible, a book by Neil Donald Walsh called Conversation with God, just reprogramming my brain to think a certain way. Now, before I say this next part, I'm gonna need you to listen right here because this is very important. When you ask God or the universe or Buddha or whoever you praise to change your life, be prepared. So as my life was changing, I was still in a toxic relationship. We were not the same person anymore. God, the universe just gave me a car that I was glad to have. I had a great job. The more I was bettering myself, the more we drifted apart. We were living in a new city and everything until one day she decided to make up a reason to go back home. So as I was listening to the word a lot more, I became less argumentative. I was more at peace. And she left me for a guy that was very toxic. Not gonna get into that. I became so depressed. But the thing about it, I still had the word. God, I would tell guys like, God, I know you're doing something great. I just wish there was another way. You got her with somebody else and I'm here lonely with a cat. I was mad, understandably. But before, I would have did something stupid. This time I trusted God. I was so depressed. I lost so much weight, man. But here's the thing about it. When you read the Bible or read a lot of information that's going to give you a lot of wisdom, it's like the conscious in your brain becomes holy, becomes God. And that's your therapist right there that's talking to you, guiding you to the higher parts of life. You no longer have that negative thinking in your brain. You have this father figure saying, hey, yo, chill. All you got to do is do this and do this, do this. I told myself, I was like, what? I'm going to get a job. I'm going to get a car for like $300. I'm gonna get a crib. It's crazy because once I said that, opportunities start coming. Got a car, got a crib, got a job. I was hanging out with my daughter all the time. We was going to events, started meeting other women, and then I didn't crave that toxic relationship no more because I got introduced to something else. Here's when I backpedaled. So as soon as life started getting good, it's like you get a test. So then my mom died. And then my brother died. I was so numb to it that I started partying like crazy. My mom left us like $20,000 each. Bought me a new car, started dressing and looking different. Then I got introduced to the white girl. And I started serving the white girl. I know what I'm talking about. It took me to a whole different path from the world. But the thing about it, the word never left. God never left. I kept getting in these deep thoughts that this isn't me. Like other dealers would come to me and say, hey, yo, I don't think this is you. I'm like, you don't even know me. And everybody kept telling me, like, yo, this isn't you. I don't know where I got on probation in Wisconsin and Iowa for 2 different things, 2 felonies. Couldn't serve the white girl anymore. So I was broke and I lost everything. Then me and my friends started a nightclub that crashed and burned terribly. Got shot up and everything. A whole bunch of, you know what I'm talking about. It was a mess. Here's the thing about it. I never lost the faith. I kept telling myself, oh, God gave it to me once. God's going to give it to me again. I just knew the word was taking me through a detox. The thing about it, I was still doing the stuff. Then as soon as I tried to stop doing it, my other brother died. And then I got right back into the snow. I was in this class called Sassy, which is pretty much a drug class. I kept falling back so much that I was in class for 3 hours a day, 3 days a week with a whole bunch of, METH heads. No offense to them. That still didn't stop me. It wasn't like I was doing it every day. It was like every time I did it, I would get drug tested. I say that to say this. When you understand how God is speaking to you, the problems that you're going through, you know why you're going through it. You know what you have to do next. So my daughter got into CPS or DHS, whatever, child services. And in order for me to get custody, I had to stop doing the legal stuff. But what happened in between that time, I had to go to jail for 45 days because I kept messing up on probation. And it ended up being 40 days. And that 40 days was a very, very spiritual moment in jail. And I stayed stuck to myself writing down goals. If you read the Bible, you know what 40 days can do to you. And I wasn't like really addicted to it. So I was like, yeah, I can do that. Whole year straight, nothing. Got full custody, got my own crib. Something told me to write down my goals, write down what I wanted to be. I made a vision board, put it on my wall with toothpaste. As you see, they're just toothpaste spots right there because I took them down. Started to get serious about what I wanted to do. And I knew that I wanted to make videos online because I was so good at it. I needed to make money now. And then I kept going out, and then a friend kept coming to me. I kept running to my friend, and she kept saying, hey, I need servers. I'm like, I am not a server. Next day, I see her again. Hey, I need a server. I'm like, I am not a server. I don't do that stuff. Third day, say, hey, I need a server. We have a lot of girls, and you could be the only guy. I was like, you know, maybe I could do this server thing. I was terrified to be a server, but I knew God was talking to me. Because sometimes when God's trying to show you something, he'll show you it repeatedly. Even if you're scared, just do it. Server for a whole year, best job ever. This preacher at this preacher table, it was a whole bunch of preachers, he looked at me and said, hey, you look like you should be doing something. I don't know what it is, but you're very animated. 2 months later, I got a notification on TikTok to make an ad. My first month made $34,000. This was from me being faithful, not doing crazy stuff, being a good father, staying off the stuff, taking my daughter on trips, living my life, doing what I love to do. This is 6 minutes long, so I'm so sorry whoever made it this far. I'm gonna leave y'all with this. You are a block. Without God, wisdom, spirituality, wherever it is that's going to bring you closer to God, you're just a block. Once you start having an understanding with God, God will start carving you from that block. And you're going to lose things that you think that you should have had. Pieces are going to fall off to the floor and crumble. You're going to get scared. Like, God, I asked you to turn me to this. What's going on? Your life will start being chaotic. But for people that don't know that they're being created by God, they will fail. They will crumble. They will crack under pressure. But for you, with the word in you, you understand what the words that you needed to hear, you will keep this strong faith. Belief that if you stick with it, if you trust the creator, trust your artist, you're going to become this masterpiece. As long as you trust the process and let the creator do his work. Because it's the chaos that creates the conqueror. Thank you.